move to the consent agenda. Let's start, Commissioner Avila, you have any items?
Item number 40.
Item 40. Excuse me. Item number 40.
Item 40, authority to award contract 15-66511, landscape and native prairie landscape maintenance at various service areas. Group 8 to Christie Weber and Company, amount not to exceed $1,323,000. And Group H to native landscape contractors LLC, an amount not to exceed $438,724.
Commissioner Avila.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm going to defer this, but I'm going to ask a couple of questions. On the
Deferral, we'll take a vote.
yeah, I understand. I submitted some questions, and thank you for answering them, David. Except when you gave me a safety requirement, I just want to know, do we know the health consequences of this ingredient that we want to apply? Glyphosate?
Well, there are different opinions on that. As we had a discussion earlier, there are large part of the community doesn't believe that there are health risks, and there are part of the community that do. And all materials that are handled in any kind of industrial or commercial environment come with an MSDS sheet and prescribe safe handling of those materials. So those are defined for that material, and the contractor is required to follow those guidelines.
Is this what staff believes that it's a healthy ingredient to use?
We don't believe that if handled correctly that there are health risks or environmental problems with this material.
I think we have to use herbicide, but I just don't want to use toxic herbicide. And one of your answers will say that it would cost more if we do it a different way. In the cost size, do we have that cost? I'm not applying toxic herbicides.
We did talk to the contractor concerning those costs, and the indication from the contractor was that it would be a much greater cost. I think that on the answer, there were numbers that were hard for me to believe, but I think that's the numbers that they gave, probably for the material itself. You know, just the material was 20 times more, and then 100 times more, I think. But when I talked to the contractor, he indicated that to do the weed pulling by hand and not use herbicides would be about twice the cost that we're paying now. So there is a cost trade-off of not using the herbicides, and I don't think we're going to, unless we would bid the contract that way, I don't think I could tell you with certainty what that cost would be.
Yeah, because what I did after the last session, I set up my own laboratory at the house, and I bought vinegar, and I had a spray can, and I sprayed vinegar on all the weeds come up through the cracks in my lawn, and I tell you, it did the job. I think I paid at Costco like under $3 by 2 gallons of vinegar.
I hope that you paid your help.
Yeah.
I hope Sherry.
No, Sherry, yeah,
well.
but there must be other type of herbicides to use, and the reason why I'm concerned is that you ever hear of Agent Orange? Did you ever hear of Agent Orange?
I have heard of Agent Orange.
And that was applied in Vietnam. We're talking maybe 40 years. And at that time, when they used Agent Orange, it was certified as harmless to human both by the American manufacturers. Harmless. And 40 years later, they find out it's not harmless. And only this year, the government acknowledged that the Air Force people that are flying these chemicals do deserve some compensation from Agent Orange. And it took a long time for our government to say that it's harmless. And this is my main concern that I have on this contract, so I'm going to defer it.
So Commissioner Avila, in order to defer, we'd have to do a vote, number
Yes.
one. Do we have any other commissioners that have any more comments on this item? We're going to have Mr. Blakemore speak on this item.
My name is George Blakemore. What makes me unique? I attend many public meetings, different county, city, park district, and when I read, and I'm not getting paid, that's what you call a volunteer, Christy Weber. I see the same vendors, the same minorities, the same women and men. They just go from one agency, government agent, to another. That name, Christy Weber. You're supposed to look for different vendors and hook up the playing game with the government agencies. So, two little words I put here. In-house. In-house landscaping, yes. In-house landscaping. When you come up with many contracts that deal with landscaping. In-house. That privatization is not working. It's not working, and it's not accountable. You can't control the service that's being rendered. Contracting everything out. This is not good government. Politics come in. Favoritism come in. It's worse in-house corruption. But it's even worse outsourcing it and privatizing it out, giving these contracts. Time's out. I go from one government agency every day. That's my passion. And they don't welcome me. I don't care. I'm still here. I'm going to be here. And if not, my spirit would be here. Using these same vendors from one agency to another is not good public policy. Christy Weber, all of them, Passion, all these companies, time out. Let other companies bid and receive some of this money, and especially I'm emphasizing people of color. So thank you, you raising your hand. You want me to be seated. I've been heard, and I'm going to write again another yellow card. Thank you, if I choose.
Thank you, Mr. Blakemore. Commissioner Santos.
Thank you. I'm not sure that deferring this is the course of action that I would like to take, because I think I recognize Commissioner Avila's concerns, and I too do have concerns with regards to herbicides and pesticides, but I think that we need to keep that in mind for the future. But as of right now, what we talked about 2 weeks ago is that we need to get something in place so that these invasive weeds or species don't go out and kill the things that we've already put in. And since we don't have another board meeting for a month, I think we're jeopardizing the plantings that we have in place. So I don't want to defer this again, so I'll be voting no.
Commissioner Shore.
Thank you, Madam President. And Commissioner Santos said much of what I was going to say. I don't know what we would achieve by a further deferral. I do want to let Commissioner Avila know that I respect his advocacy and his opinions. I think all of us share his concerns about the health and welfare of district employees, of the contractor employees, and for the environment. But we also share a responsibility to use taxpayer funds wisely and to leverage the resources we have. So I too don't see what would be achieved by a further deferral.
Commissioner Avila, did you want to?
Defer.
Okay.
Moved by Avila, second.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Alvarez.
Mr. Alvarez?
Yes.
Mr. Avila?
Aye.
Mr. Bradford?
No.
Mrs.
I know, I'm
McGowan?
sorry, yes, yes. I'm aware of that.
Yes to defer the item?
Yes.
Mrs. McGowan?
Yes.
Ms. Santos?
No.
Ms. Shore?
No.
Ms. Steele?
No, and I agree with Santos and Shore that we do need to look into some other options and experiment some other things, but no right now.
Madam President,
Yes.
5 yeas, 3 nays, motion passes.
Item deferred.